Dalovina guia dolosana angito talita kini ana warong ng Bula FM at Golden Point Resort basendo nambando ana here binaka.
Bula binaka na adang ko tevita utunggoy 90 ando talita ka wale warong ng Bula FM nambando ana sir.
Nadang ko makilesi werkraki NSB ng Bula FM nambando ana sir.
Hello nga ratu kitchen ng Gatabo ando talita na warong ng Bula FM nambando ana sir ngo lusu.
Bula FM number 2 ana sir.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, Tropical Cyclone Winston has claimed 21 lives so far, with 4 still missing. Wainimbuka and Tailevu suffers extensive damage from cyclone, and severely damaged schools to remain closed for 2 weeks. "21 people are confirmed dead and 4 still missing at sea in the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Winston, which is the strongest ever storm to hit the country. The National Disaster Management Office this afternoon confirmed the deaths, with the search continuing for the missing.
The ground situation that we have at the moment in terms of evacuation centers that are being activated for the Eastern Division, there are 9 evacuation centers with a population or with evacuees of 121. For the Central Division, we have 20 evacuation centers with 1,177 evacuees. With the Northern Division, we have 22 evacuation centers with 1,260 occupants. As for the Western Division, we have not got the number of evacuation centers, but they have provided us a number of families, which is 1,032, and the number of evacuees for the Western Division is 5,808.
Apart from this, 8,438 people are currently in evacuation centers around the country. We now join FBC journalist Aliki Mbia live from the National Disaster Management Office in Suva. Aliki, what is the latest from the officials at Nolly Street?
Jackie, with me is the director for DISMET, Mr. Kapusi Tuifangalele. Mr. Tuifangalele, can you just briefly explain at the moment what is the situation on the ground?
Thank you. The ground situation at the moment right now is that from what we have experienced in the last few days, the damage has actually been devastating. The reports from divisional commissioners and also the sectors have actually pointed to this, even though the assessment are still continuing. But I would like to mention here that government is in total control of the situation, and the government is leading the situation. The declaration of a natural disaster 2 days ago has actually paved the way for government to use all government resources directed for this operation. And the focus is to ensure the accessibility and the mobility of people through the clearance of the various roads and the waterways, the restoration of power and water, and also communication, the assistance to members of the community, especially those who have been affected. And with that, we are working very closely with the Fiji military forces, together with the Fiji police and the various ministries and departments in government to ensure that we are able to cope with the situation that is actually affecting us on Tropical Cyclone Winston. At the same time, we are also recognize the assistance that are being ready to be brought in by the international communities, and we welcome that. We started off yesterday with the use of the Orion aircraft by the government of New Zealand that has taken pictures along the parts of Lau and also parts of Lomaiviti, and from there that we could see the devastation that was made on the island of Koro. And because of that, government decided as of today and this afternoon, there is a team from the from the Republic of Fiji military forces, and together with our Minister of Health for the medics, they will be leaving today to Koro to actually provide assistance over there in terms of medical assistance, the provision of ration, the clearing that will be done, and also the maintenance and repair of the various the buildings and assets in this island of Koro. So for this evening, the barge Yarrow is actually taking machineries that will be used on the island, and it will be followed by the the government vessel Iluilovatu with the teams and together with the ration. It will be stationed there for some times to be the mothership for the operation for Koro and also for Lomaiviti, as we are expecting this to unfold in the few days to come.
You did mention about Lau and the Lomaiviti group, but for the past few days there haven't been any communication received from some of the islands in the Lau group and also for Tagmani. Has there been any update on this?
Yes, the islands of Punumbalavu, Tuguda, Nayau, Udidia and Lakemba, we still have not been able to get contact with them. Even Koro, we had difficulty today when we tried to contact them. This is show that it will take a bit of time, and this is where we need the communication through TFL and the other two communication outlets in terms of Digicel and also Vodafone. I'm sure with the weather now that has cleared, they will now be taking the first opportunity to go out to the islands and set up the mast again and ensure that it can work. But for the time being, yes, we still have not received communication from them. It means for us that the devastation in these islands could be also quite high.
Jackie.
Thanks so much for that update, Aliki. Severe tropical cyclone Winston slammed high level as it swept through the country, wreaking havoc and taking lives. Our journalist Akusita Tale managed to make it to Wainimbuka yesterday and filed this report.
This is what is left of Thai level. Damaged houses, wrecked bus shelters, destroyed churches, flooded villages, dead vegetation, and a lot of misery. Thai level province was hit hard by the Category 5 cyclone, leaving them surrounded by destruction and facing the huge problem of rebuilding their community and their lives almost from scratch. William Lord of Waitoa settlement in Wainimbuka, 20 minutes away from Korovo town, says the first dangerous winds hit on Saturday afternoon. This is what remains.
Patina rotemna na vitu na kaloko. Sabi ako kumana ambatin sang. Hausa tukul sara tonro. Tole baru ngai vale, beto na vale go. Kito sa anro, kito nroi vale. Kito sa ni indoraka kito le takapati vale. Kito sa lindambe sartunga kito vara de tunang patin sang go. Hausa tuda kito ngamate ni katu vale ke hausa re den sa bukan ndoka ni vale tukul sarwa. Sa bukan na vale. Kun kawai taka.
Lord says Winston was so strong that it ripped apart houses in neighboring Waitoa village. 20 families in Ayala village were forced to seek emergency shelter at one of the teachers' quarters when winds ripped through Ayala Secondary School, which had earlier designated as an evacuation center. Classroom blocks, hostels and the school office are all that's left with their roofs damaged or blown away.
Sa wadalan kitna dalin ka kitna korul kitngo tubut kay sonaval ni sonang gasul tungo naval ni principal tataw kitna ka.
Yung classroom
todo ko sarna bebe dua rua tolu ba bebe lima na classroom to wadalan kitna dalin ka.
FBC News visited other villages in Wainimbuka where residents were seen sunning their bedding, swimming across flooded rivers and transporting food and belongings by mbilimbili from one village to another while waiting for water levels to recede before they begin cleaning up. This was Nayavu village, the hub of Wainimbuka, when FBC News visited it yesterday. Of more than 78 houses, only a few stood still with their walls in place, while the rest were destroyed by the Category 5 cyclone. However, villagers of Nassau Toka spent the whole day gathering up what they could of their belongings, including parts of their homes which had been blown onto the King's Highway. Nassau Toka Primary School was badly damaged with all their classroom blocks standing roofless. Despite this, the Bula spirit was with the people of Wainimbuka as they helped each other rebuild their lives. The spirit of unity in a common cause was evident when youths from around Budalevu Neilangi, Vivewali and neighboring villages spent much of yesterday afternoon clearing debris and removing fallen trees in order to open Nambulini Road for the public and emergency vehicles. For now, the people of Wainimbuka continue their joint effort towards recovery and restoration as they wait for government's assistance. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
Nandi town was under lockdown yesterday evening as heavy rain caused flooding. FBC News team travelled between Nandi to Lautoka to capture the destruction done by Tropical Cyclone Winston. Ritika Pratap reports.
As FBC News travelled through the west, evidence of storm was obvious with downed trees, flooded roads and rivers, and storm-tossed debris scattered everywhere. Like most of the rest of Fiji, flooded rivers and downed trees marked the storm's passage, along with damage to buildings and crops. Many lighter and less substantial structures lost their roofs and walls, while downed telephone and power lines presented hazards. Shallow lakes formed where the runoff from the storm collected in low-lying areas, blocking access to homes, villages and other small communities. In some areas, buildings were totally surrounded by the flood waters as streets turned to rivers. While warnings to stay away from floodwaters had been issued, some of those who didn't discovered why. Downtown Nandi was generally abandoned, but the few who were still around found the going tough. For some, there was little else they could do but wait and watch the floodwaters recede. But for children who are carefree, aftermath of Winston provides a chance to wave to the FBC cameras and hope for a better tomorrow. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, we continue our coverage of aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Winston.
Yandra! I love listening to Gold FM at Golden Point Resort. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is General from Rakiriki Village. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic.
I'm Moses from Valeu. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Marida Manako. I'm from Kandavu. I like listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Tilipa from Tabo Town. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Badly damaged schools in war-stricken areas hit by Cyclone Winston will be closed for 2 weeks. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama confirmed this in an exclusive interview with FBC News earlier today. Ali Kimbia has more.
The current assessment of the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Winston has forced government to close certain schools which have been severely affected by Tropical Cyclone Winston for a fortnight.
We intend to maybe extend the school break from 1 week to 2 weeks. But we will concentrate on school, on health centers, on hospitals, government stations. We know that the team is gone out to do surveys. But in the meantime, we can start working on the schools.
Bainimarama says schools in the central, eastern and other divisions that have not been severely damaged and will resume classes from Monday as earlier stated.
Next week, all the schools around, especially around this area that have not been damaged, will start. They will start next week. But we'll have to have a look at the schools that have been extensively damaged. That's where the manpower is required.
Bainimarama stated that a sense of urgency is required for all Fijians to assist our children get back to school.
It is required by the people at large, communities and villages to come and assist in clearing the schools, putting up temporary shelters for school, and then we'll start.
we'll start to, the team will start looking at finding out alternative shelters from the evacuation centers that we have now, so that people start moving away from schools that are being used as evacuation centers.
The government has stated that it will do whatever it takes to restore schools and ensure a safer learning environment for students. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Nambawalu jetty in Bor was severely damaged by Tropical Cyclone Winston, rendering it useless for shipping. The jetty is the gateway to the north by those who travel by boat between Vitilevu and Vanolevu, and the damage is expected to cause major problems in the weeks ahead. Farzana Nisha has more.
This is the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Winston, leaving the Nambawalu jetty completely damaged.
Came back from Nambawalu, and I think it's much more worse than the South with what is there on the ground that we've seen on our face. Start from the jetty. The jetty, I think, will be out of service too, maybe for the next few months. So that means whole of Vanolevu will be cut out of transportation ships for the next, since we don't have the one here in, it's also damaged in Sabu as well as in Nambawalu.
Not only the jetty but the power poles, trees along the roads have all been damaged and brought down by the devastating winds caused by the cyclone as it passed through. A villager, Sekovelu Tunatambua, says the means of providing food for his family has been badly damaged and he has no idea how he will provide for his family now.
3 of our boats were damaged. The 3 engines that were 60, 75 and 40. Some engines are badly damaged and cannot be used anymore.
Reports are slowly pouring in as communication links are being restored. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
Meanwhile, students of Queen Victoria School are likely to join nearby schools for education. QVS Vice Principal Ose Koli says discussions with the ministry was done this morning and they are still awaiting confirmation regarding this. Koli says the devastation caused by Tropical Cyclone Winston is huge and repairments will take time.
We're thankful that the government has seen it fit to at least take one week's break for all of Fiji. That to us gives us a time for our students and parents to just to stay at home. And if the ministry comes back to us and thinks that they will return or they stay at home and find other schools, it'll be okay with us.
All students were evacuated yesterday. About 10 yachts were thrown inland from the Savu Bay during the onslaught of Tropical Cyclone Winston. FBC News was in Savu yesterday. Some yachts landed on mangrove patches, some were partly on the roads and some ran aground. The yachts were moored at the bay, taking shelter from Tropical Cyclone Winston. Meanwhile, Savu town received minor damages. There were debris strewn along the main street and power lines and trees were down. Assessment teams are currently on the ground in Savu to get a detailed report on the extent of the damage. Residents around Suva have also started their cleanup after the effects of Tropical Cyclone Winston. With trees being uprooted and roofs of houses being blown away by strong winds, Suva was not spared. Kelly Varvala has the details.
This is what Tropical Cyclone Winston left behind in areas around the capital. A few families at the Wailea settlement are still trying to come into terms with the devastation effects of Winston. For a 47-year-old Penny Tuwai, Cyclone Winston damaged his house.
The wind blew off the roof of my bathroom and toilet, and also my house was flooded. This place was all flooded. Even roofs of houses were blown away, and people had to go to Vishnudo Primary School for evacuation.
As you come along the Nasese area, Maisuva Park was flooded with uprooted trees and rubbish that has been washed ashore by strong tides on Saturday. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
After the break, we have more on the ongoing effects of the cyclone.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान कुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल एग्रेट है कुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची FM नंबर 1 है कुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची एफएम को लॉक कर दिया जाए। मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
हम नकाशी से साइमन है, हम वेजिटेबल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है।
My name is Dinesh. हम नैंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जायंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I like it.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Coral Island has been identified as a priority area at the moment by government and the Fiji Red Cross Society. Coral was hit hard by Tropical Cyclone Winston and is now in dire need of immediate assistance. Ellen Stolz has the story.
This is one of 100 packs which contains clothes, soap and other items for people on Coral Island. Also on the list are 200 tarpaulins, 150 hygiene packs and cooking sets consisting of pots and other utensils.
For Coral alone, the number that was given to us this morning was 2,000. 2,000 families. You can do your calculation on the Western Division and the Northern Division, so definitely we'll be needing more than that.
Lendua says teams will also be deployed to the west and north today, and the Red Cross team will also be travelling with a team from the government to the maritime regions tomorrow.
The same activities that they'll be doing as part of our disaster response procedures. They'll conduct assessment, they'll analyze, and then we'll see the families that needs to be benefiting the relief items that we do give out.
Today, Fiji Red Cross Society also launched a national appeal in the wake of severe tropical cyclone Winston. The president of the society, Kathy Wong, says they would appreciate and prefer financial assistance at this stage as opposed to aid in kind.
As our stocks are being given out, our job is now to replenish, and that is why we're asking for cash donations so we can replenish our stocks to keep feeding.
Wong also confirms that the International Federation of Red Cross will also be launching an appeal for Fiji soon, which they hope will boost financial aid for the country. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
New Zealand Foreign Affairs Minister Murray McCully has announced a further Defence Force flight to Fiji and $1.8 million in funding, bringing New Zealand's total contribution to relief efforts following Tropical Cyclone Winston to more than $2 million. Speaking to New Zealand-based Radio Tirana, McCully says through its High Commission in Fiji, they have already given $50,000 for initial and urgent requirements, and an additional $170,000 worth of pre-positioned humanitarian supplies have also been made available by the New Zealand government. New Zealand has also given its Defence Force Orion to conduct aerial assessment for damages.
We want to make sure that we do what is going to be most effective for Fiji. Fiji is a significant country with a significant capacity of its own. So we want to make sure that we're acting on the advice and under the request of the Fijian government. They, of course, need time to consume the information that is being supplied and make their own assessments.
The Australian government is providing an initial $5 million package of assistance for immediate response to the devastation caused by Tropical Cyclone Winston. A team with relief supplies left for Koro from Viti Levu late this afternoon. It is estimated about 2,000 families have been severely affected by the Tropical Cyclone Winston on the island. The supplies heading their way include food, cooking utensils, clothes and farming tools. Relief teams to other maritime islands are also expected to leave later this week.
Team going to Coral leaves this afternoon. And the rest of the maritime islands, as soon as the weather permits, they will go.
Meanwhile, today, the Fiji Red Cross Society launched a national appeal for assistance to victims suffering in the wake of severe Tropical Cyclone Winston. The Fiji Electricity Authority is using the diesel generators at Kinoya and Lambasa to supply power to areas where the lines are intact and or repair works are completed. The FEA says their restoration priorities are in hospitals, water pumping stations, cities and towns, and then the residential areas. Power supply has been cut to the entire Viti level in Lambasa, Savo and Ovalau. Meanwhile, Telecom Fiji has announced that it has activated all its resources on the ground in its effort to restore its services affected by Tropical Cyclone Winston. TFL has indicated that while its infrastructure sustained some damages, it is at the same time grateful that these damages were not as extensive as previously experienced. A 10-year-old boy from Vudi in Nausori is the latest drowning victim. The boy allegedly went for a swim with his family members at around 11 a.m. today and was found to be missing half an hour later. The alarm was raised by his family and a search party was organized by the family and villagers present. The boy's body was discovered a few meters down the river from where they had been swimming. Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya is assuring all friends and families of guests currently visiting Fiji that they are safe. Koya says hotels and resorts have taken necessary precautions to ensure their guests are safe and are taken good care of. He says there are no reports of any significant structural damage to the majority of hotels on Viti level, except for some properties in the Raki area. Koya says Cyclone Winston has caused extensive damage to the communications infrastructure, hence mobile and internet communications in some parts of Fiji have been affected. Scattered showers affected most parts of the country today. A trough of low pressure lies just to the north of Fiji. It is expected to move over the group tonight. Associated cloud and rain is anticipated to affect most parts of Fiji from later tonight. Temperatures were in the 30s today. And tomorrow it's occasional rain, heavy at times and few thunderstorms, moderate to fresh northwest to northeast winds, moderate to rough seas. And the further outlook is for Wednesday with rain easing. Our main stories for tonight. 21 people have been confirmed dead due to Tropical Cyclone Winston, with 4 missing. Wainimbuka and Tailevu has suffered extensive damage from the cyclone and severely damaged schools to remain closed for the next 2 weeks. That was news for tonight, but as we wrap up, here are pictures captured by our team that has emerged from the last 3 days. I'm Jackie Spade for FBC News. Good night.
go. Now. Kita bergaya. Kita kegigil. Kita berani kalau kita mau. Hah? Kita oke.
Freddy. I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah. I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Sulamila. I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.